Before we start adding colliders, let's quickly talk about what they're for. A collider is just a simple shape that allows the game to detect when something touches a character. We're mostly going to be using capsules because they're simple, efficient, and work well enough for most situations. You might be wondering why we don't use perfectly accurate collisions that match every part of the model. The answer is that it adds a tremendous amount of complexity for both the creator and the game itself. More detailed collisions means much more setup, more things that can go wrong, and more performance overhead. The reality is that most games get by just fine using simple shapes like boxes, spheres, and capsules. They aren't perfect, but they don't need to be. They're fast, reliable, and usually more than accurate enough for gameplay purposes. Right now, we're using these colliders for things like grab detection, but the same colliders also drive future systems such as liquid interactions, physics effects, gameplay events, and other character specific features. So don't worry about perfection. We just want reasonable coverage that gives the game useful information to work with. And before we go any further, let's talk about how the characters in the game work. The characters in the game work off of grabbable points. Like any rig, you can take any of these controllers and drive some sort of system from it. You got your hips, you got your spine, you got your chest, your shoulders, elbows, hands, head, knees, and feet. Now, we don't grab these controllers not directly. That would not make sense. These controllers are driven through other systems. Well, we need to grab the character. We know this. We know that we need collision. So we're going to use collision as a interfacing layer between the rig and the player. Um, as you see here, here's bones. And as you see here, here are some examples of what capsules or collision might look like. As you see, they do not perfectly overlap the character. There's some small gaps, but people do not see the collision. And we go a step further by adding a few more colliders than other games typically do. Usually in games, legs are single colliders or capsules per bone. For our purposes, we're going to be splitting up every bone into two capsules for the limbs. And the reason is very simple. Let's say you are a player and you wish to move Widowmaker's leg and you grab their leg. Specifically, let's say that you're grabbing two separate spots, one not at the same time. You grab Widowmaker's upper thigh and you grab her lower thigh. What happens? What should happen? Well, you would think that the closer you get to the knee, right here, the more likely you are to move the knee. But at some point, if you grab the bone or grab the collider way up here, you might not be intending to move the knee since it's so far. Or this is why we split limbs into two capsules. Because if you grab this capsule up here versus this capsule, those are two fundamentally different things potentially. And that goes for most areas of the limbs where you grab them on the bone, head or tail. If you grab Widowmaker's upper thigh here, you're more likely to want to move the entire hip system rather than her knee. And it's the same thing for the ankle and the calf. If you grab right here, you're more likely to want to grab the knee, despite it being all on the same bone. And as you grab down here, you're more likely to want to move and drive the ankle and the foot. So this is why we are going to be ensuring that we split limbs into two capsules. In some cases, characters will have twist bones or in between bones, and our job is simpler. Sometimes characters have a singular thigh bone. Either way, we're going to think of the thigh space as the area between the hip and the knee. And some characters will have a singular bone, some will have two. Either way, we're going to make a capsule for the lower part and the higher